June 28, 1992, Kensington Palace, 10:47 p.m. The sound of splintering wood and shattering glass echoed through the corridors of Kensington Palace as Princess Diana unleashed 11 years of suppressed rage on Prince Charles's private study. Palace staff cowered in distant rooms as the Princess of Wales systematically destroyed everything in her husband's sanctuary: his precious books, his personal photographs, his collection of antique furniture, even his beloved watercolor paintings. But this wasn't a random act of destruction. This was Diana's calculated response to discovering the most devastating betrayal of their marriage. Charles had been secretly recording their private conversations and sharing them with Camilla Parker Bowles for entertainment. When Diana found the recording equipment hidden in Charles's desk, something inside her snapped forever. The shy kindergarten teacher was gone. In her place stood a woman with nothing left to lose and everything to destroy. But what Diana discovered in Charles's office that night would give her the ammunition to destroy the royal family itself. The discovery. June 28, 1992, 8:30 p.m. The hidden recording equipment. Diana had gone to Charles's study to look for important documents related to their separation proceedings. Charles was away on a royal engagement, and Diana needed to find financial records that her lawyers required. As she searched through Charles's desk drawers, her hand brushed against something unexpected: a small electronic device hidden beneath a false bottom. When she pulled it out, Diana realized she was holding professional recording equipment. Her heart racing, Diana searched the rest of the desk and discovered a complete surveillance system: voice-activated recording devices, miniature cameras, and most shocking of all, a collection of cassette tapes labeled with dates spanning their entire marriage. With trembling hands, Diana picked up a tape labeled Diana Private Conversations, May 1992, and inserted it into Charles's tape player. Her own voice filled the room. "Charles, I feel so alone in this marriage. Sometimes I wonder if you ever loved me at all." Then Charles's voice: "Diana, you're being dramatic again. Perhaps you should speak to someone about these emotional outbursts." Diana fast-forwarded through the tape and heard conversation after conversation. Private moments between husband and wife that she had never known were being recorded. But the most devastating discovery was yet to come. The Camilla tapes. 8:45 p.m. The entertainment sessions. Diana found a second set of tapes labeled CPB Entertainment, Camilla Parker Bowles. With growing horror, she played the first tape. Charles's voice: "Camilla, you'll find this amusing. Diana had another emotional breakdown yesterday. I recorded the whole thing." Diana heard her own voice from months earlier, crying and pleading with Charles about his coldness toward her. Then Camilla's laughter: "Oh, Charles, she's so dramatic. Does she always whine like that?" Charles: "Constantly. Listen to this one from last week." Another recording played. Diana begging Charles to give their marriage another chance, her voice breaking with emotion and desperation. Camilla: "Good Lord, Charles, how do you tolerate it? She sounds like a wounded animal." Charles: "The trick is to just let her talk herself out. Eventually she exhausts herself and goes away." More laughter from Camilla. Diana realized that her most private, vulnerable moments had been turned into entertainment for Charles and his mistress. Every time she had opened her heart to her husband, he had been secretly recording her pain for Camilla's amusement. But there were more tapes, and they contained even worse betrayals. The family conspiracy. 9 p.m. The royal family recording. Diana discovered that Charles hadn't just been recording her. He had been recording conversations with other members of the royal family about her. A tape labeled Family Meeting Diana Problem contained a conversation between Charles, the Queen, and Prince Philip. Queen: "Charles, Diana's popularity is becoming problematic. The public prefers her to us." Charles: "I know, Mummy. But what can we do? She won't listen to guidance." Philip: "The girl needs to be put in her place. These emotional displays are embarrassing the family." Charles: "I've been documenting her behavior. Diana's increasingly unstable. We might be able to use that." Queen: "What kind of documentation?" Charles: "Recordings of her emotional outbursts, evidence of her eating disorder, proof of her inability to handle royal duties." Philip: "Excellent. Keep collecting evidence. If we need to remove her from the family, we'll have justification." Her own husband had been building a case against her, recording her most vulnerable moments as evidence of her instability, but the most devastating tape was still to come: the children weapon. 9:15 p.m. The ultimate betrayal. The final tape Diana found was labeled Custody Strategy, and dated just 1 month earlier. Her hands shook as she pressed play. Charles's voice: "The recordings show Diana's emotional instability clearly. Any court would question her fitness as a mother. An unknown male voice, presumably a lawyer. The eating disorder documentation is particularly compelling. Combined with the depression evidence, we have a strong case for limiting her custody. Charles, I want full custody of William and Harry. Diana can have supervised visits. Lawyer, with this evidence, that's very achievable. The recordings show her making concerning statements about self-harm, and her emotional outbursts suggest an unstable environment for the children. Charles, good. Diana may have won the public relations battle, but I'll win the war. She'll lose everything that matters to her. Diana stopped the tape, her entire world crashing down. Charles wasn't just betraying their marriage, he was planning to take her children away, using her own words against her. That's when something inside Diana snapped. Don't miss this explosive moment. What Diana did next shocked the entire palace. The destruction begins. 9:30 p.m. The first strike, Diana's transformation from victim to destroyer, began with Charles's precious first edition books. She grabbed volume after volume from his personal library and hurled them across the room, pages flying like wounded birds. 11 years, she screamed to the empty room. 11 years of lies. She picked up Charles's collection of antique inkwells and smashed them against the wall, black ink staining the cream wallpaper like tears. Next were Charles's personal photographs, images of him with his polo ponies, his beloved dogs, his family. Diana tore each one in half, then quarters, then eighths, until the floor was carpeted with fragments of Charles's life. But she was just getting started. Diana found Charles's watercolor paintings, his pride and joy, the hobby he claimed gave him peace. She took her house keys and slashed each canvas, destroying years of Charles's artistic work in minutes. The sound of her destruction echoed through the palace corridors. Staff members heard the chaos, but were too terrified to intervene. No one had ever seen the Princess of Wales in such a state. But Diana's rage was building, not diminishing. The systematic destruction. 9:45 p.m. Methodical revenge. Diana's destruction became more calculated, as her initial fury transformed into cold determination. She wasn't just breaking things randomly, she was targeting everything Charles valued most. She found his collection of rare first-edition architectural books and tore out pages one by one, creating a paper snowstorm of destroyed knowledge. Charles's antique desk, a family heirloom passed down through generations, became her next target. Diana picked up a letter opener and carved deep gouges into its polished surface, destroying its perfection forever. His collection of cufflinks, each one a gift from family or friends, went flying across the room, gold and silver scattered like expensive confetti. But Diana's most symbolic act of destruction was yet to come. She found Charles's most prized possession, a photograph of himself with the Queen, both of them smiling at some long-forgotten state occasion. Instead of destroying it, Diana took a red pen and wrote across the Queen's face, "You raised a monster." Across Charles's face she wrote, "Liar, betrayer, failure." Then she placed the defaced photograph prominently on Charles's desk, where he would be certain to see it. You won't believe what Diana did to Charles's most secret hiding place, the secret safe. 10 p.m., the final violation. Diana remembered Charles had a hidden safe behind a painting in his study. She had seen him access it once, years earlier, and memorized the combination by watching his fingers. Inside the safe, Diana found Charles's most private possessions, love letters from Camilla, dating back to 1980, photographs of Charles and Camilla together throughout his marriage to Diana, a key to what appeared to be a property Diana didn't recognize. Most damaging of all, a detailed plan titled Project Freedom. Project Freedom was Charles's step-by-step strategy for divorcing Diana while maintaining custody of their children and preserving his public image. The plan included: Phase 1. Document Diana's emotional instability through secret recordings. Phase 2. Leak evidence of Diana's mental health issues to sympathetic media. Phase 3. Present divorce as necessary for children's welfare. Phase 4. Obtain full custody through evidence of Diana's unfitness. Phase 5. Marry Camilla with public sympathy for faithful husband narrative. Diana realized that Charles had been planning to destroy her for years, systematically building a case that would leave her with nothing. But now Diana had the evidence to destroy him first. She took every document, every photograph, every letter from the safe. Then she did something that would haunt Charles forever. The message, 10:15 p.m., Diana's declaration of war. Diana sat at Charles's destroyed desk and wrote him a letter on his own personal stationery. Charles, I found your recording equipment. I heard the tapes. I know about Project Freedom. I know about everything. You thought you were so clever, documenting my instability for your custody case. But you made one mistake. You underestimated me. I now have all your documents, all your plans, all your evidence against me. But more importantly, I have evidence against you. Your recordings work both ways, darling. Every cruel thing you said about me, every laugh you shared with Camilla at my expense, every conspiracy you planned with your family, it's all documented now. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to agree to a fair divorce settlement. You're going to agree to shared custody of our children. You're going to stop your campaign to destroy my reputation. And you're going to do all of this quietly and without fighting me. Because if you don't, I will release every recording, every document, every piece of evidence I found tonight. The world will see exactly what kind of man you really are. They'll hear how you and Camilla laughed at my pain. They'll read your plans to steal my children. They'll learn that the future King of England is a liar, a manipulator, and a betrayer. You wanted to play games with my life. Fine, but remember, I learned from the master, and I've just beaten you at your own game. Consider this room a small preview of what I can do to your entire life if you try to cross me again. Game over, Charles. I win. Diana. P.S. I've left you one recording device. It contains something special I recorded tonight, while destroying your precious study. Listen to it whenever you need a reminder of what happens when you underestimate the woman you betrayed. The palace response. 10:30 p.m. Aftermath and panic. When Charles returned to Kensington Palace later that night and discovered the destruction, he was speechless. His private sanctuary had been turned into a war zone, and Diana's letter made it clear that she now held all the cards in their relationship. Charles immediately called the Queen. Mummy, Diana's lost her mind. She's destroyed my study and stolen private documents. What kind of documents, Charles? Everything. The custody plans, the recordings, Project Freedom. She has it all. The Queen's silence was telling. Finally, Charles, what exactly did you record? Private conversations with Diana, discussions with you and Papa about her, strategy sessions with lawyers. You recorded conversations with me without my knowledge. Charles realized he had just admitted to secretly recording the Queen of England. Mummy, I can explain. No explanations, Charles. You've created a disaster. If Diana releases those recordings, it won't just destroy you, it will destroy the entire royal family. The Queen hung up, leaving Charles alone in his destroyed study with the dawning realization that he had underestimated his wife catastrophically. The power shift. July 1992, the new Diana. Diana's destruction of Charles's study marked a fundamental shift in their relationship. Charles, who had been planning to control the divorce proceedings, suddenly found himself at Diana's mercy. Every time Charles threatened to fight for custody, Diana reminded him about the recordings. When Charles's lawyers suggested challenging Diana's fitness as a mother, Diana's lawyers produced evidence of Charles's plans to manipulate the system. When the royal family tried to limit Diana's public appearances, she reminded them that she had recordings of their family meetings discussing her Diana problem. Diana had transformed from victim to victor in a single night of destruction. Most importantly, Diana had learned that she was capable of fighting back against the system that had tried to crush her. The shy kindergarten teacher was gone forever, replaced by a woman who would not be underestimated again. The truth revealed. Diana's palace meltdown wasn't just an emotional breakdown. It was a strategic victory that changed the balance of power in her marriage and her relationship with the royal family. By discovering Charles's surveillance system and destroying his study, Diana had turned his own weapons against him. She had gone from being the victim of secret recordings to being the keeper of devastating evidence. The destruction of Charles's office was symbolic of Diana's destruction of the old power dynamic in their relationship. She was no longer the young woman who could be manipulated and controlled. She was now the woman who held the royal family's secrets and wasn't afraid to use them. Charles's plan to document Diana's instability for custody purposes backfired spectacularly when Diana proved she was stable enough to outmaneuver him completely. The lasting impact. Diana's meltdown had permanent consequences for the royal family. They realized that Diana was no longer someone who could be bullied or manipulated. She had evidence that could destroy them, and she was prepared to use it. The incident forced Charles to agree to more favorable divorce terms than he had planned. It established Diana's position as someone who could not be ignored or dismissed. Most importantly, it marked Diana's transformation from royal victim to royal threat, a woman who understood the game and was prepared to play it better than anyone else. Sometimes the most important battles are won not through diplomacy, but through the complete destruction of your enemy's sense of security. Diana's meltdown was her declaration that she would no longer be the victim in her own story. Some people break under pressure. Others used the pressure to forge themselves into weapons. Diana chose to become a weapon, and Charles's study was just the first casualty of her war for freedom.